Hey, this is Jenny Jones, the Digital Marketing Tool Shed. Now, one of the things we do here at the Digital Marketing Tool Shed is we just try to look at all the different tools that may aid you in your growth when it comes to digital marketing. If this is your first time to this channel, please go ahead and like and subscribe. I'm always doing different types of tools, looking at them, putting them together. What I wanted to do was I wanted to take an opportunity to cover, and I think a lot of people for the first time, they says, hey, I want to create a course. I don't really know where to start. It can seem overwhelming. And I just broke it down to you in 4 easy steps here. This video actually is being powered and or sponsored by Easy Course. Now, what I love about Easy Course is when you line it up against some of the other leaders here, Thinkific, Kajabi, and Teachable, you're looking at, sure, they give you courses, they give you bundles, but can you sell physical products, right? Can you do group chat? Can you sell group chat? Can you do private chat? Can you sell private chat? Do they do booking appointments? You can't do it on Thinkific. Do they have membership sites, right? Teachable doesn't have membership sites. Thinkific doesn't have membership sites. Do they have an advanced builder? These are basically basic builders here. You can do a lot of advanced stuff here. Do they have a template library? Do they have blocks library? I can go on and on, but that's what I love about Easy Course, and it's pretty easy to put together. Learning management system that is complete with everything. I've moved all of my courses with the exception of 1 or 2 for different reasons. I've moved them all over to Easy Course, and I just kind of wanted you to this is the process that I went through, and I put 2 academies together in a weekend. I did one started on a Friday night, and I was done by Sunday evening, and I put two entire academies together using this basic process, and I want to share it with you today. Now, one of the first things you're going to need to do is when you look at your learning management system, it can be overwhelming because there's a lot of moving parts. What you have to do, and this is what I've done with all of the courses and all the academies that I've created, I begin with the end in mind. What does that mean? What do I want it to be? What do I want my students to experience? What type of journey do I want to take them on? What other offers do I want to have for them? What other kind of call to actions do I have for them? If you know what that's going to be on the other end, then if you begin with that first, it's going to allow you, as you put it together, it'll shape and it'll come out a little bit better. One of the things is you have to know who your target market is. Everybody is not going to be your target market. That's a whole nother class for a whole nother day. I want to keep this very simple. The only reason why I say you need to know what your target market is because depending on what age group it is or demographic, you're going to have to figure out what your aesthetics will be. That's in step number 4. You have to figure out, do you want to go with all cartoon characters? Do you want to go with actual photos and pictures to show live, right? Show people in action, or you just want to just go with draw stick figures or cartoons, or or you just want it to be logo driven, and then you have to pick your colors. They have to be dynamic and vibrant and not put people to sleep, more drab or or grays or beiges to put people to sleep, but they have to have the dynamics. So right there, we're going to look at step number 1 here. Begin with the end in mind, because if you do that, everything will shape and put itself together. The next thing is these are things that I actually did. And like I said, I created 2 academies, full-blown academies. I still have some courses I want to do, but I'm going to talk about that in step number 4. Number 4 is very critical. So we're going to go ahead and get there as we move forward. But step number 2 here is draft it out on paper, just plain paper. Don't use computer programs. Don't use, go back to old school before you had computers. Now, the reason why I say don't go to computer programs is because when we go to computer programs, we have a tendency to try to make it perfect because we can cut and paste and move things around. So if we wanted to build out something and put a flow chart together on paper, that's fine. I don't think that it needs to go there first. I think the first thing you need to do is I always use a composition book, and I always draw on a piece of paper, because now you're emptying your head with all the ideas that you have for your particular course, right? And so I do that first. I do that more than anything else. And it's just a rough draft. It's a sketch. Even before a movie is put into place, or a video games, some of the larger video games, they do a sketch first. They do storytelling, right? And so you do your sketches first. So you draft it out on paper, right? The next thing you do, this is very important. This is something that I did not do initially, and it would take me longer to produce my courses. When you put enough of your time in the front end and the planning, the back end is so easy. You can put that together. So step number 3 here, and that's the reason why I got this picture here, is because, listen, that's the most important step. It's creating a course outline, right? And because what it does is it gives you a hierarchy to your class. You want to take your students on a journey. You want to give them that experience, and then you want to deliver. So in the beginning, you tell them what you're going to tell them. You tell them, and then you tell them what you just told them in the recap at the end of your actual course. You do a review. You're doing your checking. Will you have quizzes? Will it be multiple choice quizzes? Will it be 1 or 2 quizzes? And so on and so forth. So once you do that, also, will you have a certificate at the end, right? Will it be any gamification involved at the end? Gamification, meaning will there be any types of rewards or reward system? Will they be competing with other students who can get at least 100 points, who can get a perfect score or something like that? Those things need to be developed and fleshed out right here at the critical step of number 3, because you'll have all of that down. Then that'll even give you an idea of how long the course may be. You can't start with the pricing first until you know what your course outline is going to be. And then what you're going to find out is just, oh, this course is shorter than what I thought. I want to make the value of what it is. So, I was probably going to do the course for $49.99. I probably only can do it for $29.95 because I don't have 2 pieces, and then come back later and create a part number 2. And then you can still get that other $20 that you were going to do to make it $50. You can only get $25 on this one, then create a part 2 where you figured out what you might have left out, and then you can get that other $25 back. So you still got $50 for the entire course. All right, so moving on to step number 4. Step number 4 is the theme, the color, the design, the mock-up. And the reason why I say the mock-up is because once you've decided on what learning management system you're going to use, again, I'm going to err on the side of easy course because it's easy to put courses together. And this is how I did mine's in easy courses. I put mock-ups in, meaning that I went through and I put placeholders in every single spot where I wanted things to sit. I want this to be chapter 1. I would actually load up one video. I had one video that I did. It was just a demo video of something where I was talking. And I put that same video in every single chapter because I wanted to know how it would sit. I wanted to know, as I was putting the entire course together, where things would look. How did it flow? Where did it look? And so then once you get your theme, your color, your design, right? Where will things sit? Will I have this here? Will I have a chapter? Will I have a test at the end of every chapter, right? How will I actually put my course together? Will it be me talking over PowerPoint slides? Will it be me just showing slides on an actual a PowerPoint? Or maybe it won't be any PowerPoints. Maybe it'll just be Word and text, which can be a little bit daunting if you want somebody to go through it. I think there needs to be movement. I think I think it can be eye contact made in some of your courses. I think you could probably interact a lot more with the students. I think you can celebrate as you get, if we talked about in step 3, if there's 10 lessons, I think you need to already know after the 5th lesson, you want to celebrate and encourage people that, hey, you're halfway through, you can do this. You can encourage them and let them know, remind them of the benefit at the end, right? And so that's your mock-up. Again, mock-ups, I will write my mock-ups out. I'll use the software that I'm going to use. I'll start writing in there chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. I may not put the context in it yet, but I just want to know how things will look and how they come together, right? And then once I've done and I see how it looks, then I will add the rest of the ingredients to my actual layout that I've gotten from my course outline and put all those things together in step 4. So I want to make sure all that's together. Now, the videos are not added, but I've already added just the text. Now let's talk about over here in A. Let's talk about record in one setting. Now this is mostly where people stumble and do not finish their courses, because they don't know how to properly record or put their recordings together. So if you're going to record over a camera, you may just talk through. And let me tell you, the first course that I did 3.5 years ago, almost 4 years ago, the first one that I did, I struggled and I never really finished it. And I says, man, here's what I was doing wrong. I was trying to record. I try to pick on one day to record. It's just, I'll record every other day or something like that. Where the power is, and this is the most important piece in completing your course, is just one day for recording. One day. You have one. And here's the reason why. I know the ladies like to put on their makeup, and not all ladies, but I'm just saying you want to look a certain part. You want to look presentable for your students, and because they're going to have to look at you over the course of the presentation. So that's the day that you shave, or you look nice, you look presentable, you put on, makeup if you wear makeup, and you look nice, camera lighting, everything is right. And then that's the day you've just saved for recording. If you have your content and everything ready that you put together in step number 3, then when the day comes to recording, this is how you're going to record. What you're going to do is you're going to record everything in one setting. And then you're going to come back later and just edit, right? And so let me give you an example. If I have a course that I put together and it's got 5 chapters, just say use for example, the first thing I'm going to do is an introduction. And I'm sitting there at the same time, tape is rolling. I'm saying, hey, this is Jenny Jones. Welcome to my class, my introductory class on course creation. Right? In this course, you are going to experience a lot of wins. How you're going to get your wins? There's going to be 3 ways you're going to get wins. And I'm just going to talk and go into the camera. And then I'm going to say, now I see you on the inside. Then I'm going to continue to talk. And then I'm going to say, all right, so introduction. Let's talk about the course objectives, right? And I said the course objectives, and I may be reading off of something, or I may read off cue cards or something like that. I may not. So let me start that over again. So I'm going to give you the introduction. I'm going to give you what the course objectives are. And both times I'm talking to you and I'm making eye contact with the camera. Then I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to introduce each chapter. So it's 5 chapters. I'm going to say chapter 1. In this chapter, we're going to cover this and cover that, right? And say, see you on the inside. Then I'm going to go to chapter 2, and this is the same setting. I'm going to say, all right, this is chapter 2. Chapter 2 can be a very exciting chapter, and I'm going to set it up for them. And I'm still talking into the camera. I haven't stopped yet. So then I'm going to come back and say, chapter 3 is a very entertaining chapter. It's one of my favorite chapters. You're going to see once you get inside, you're going to say, hey, I can see where the growth is coming from. See you on the inside. Chapter 4 is this. Chapter 5 is that. Then you're going to do your conclusion. Listen, you've learned a lot today, right? This is some of the things you've learned over the last 5 chapters. You learned this, you learned that. You got to applaud yourself, because this is not easy to learn, and so on and so forth. You give your conclusion, say, hey, I'd like to thank you again for going on this journey with me and allowing you the opportunity to enjoy me putting this. I've just had just as much fun as you putting it together as you've been able to go through this. If you do not mind, if you can leave a review at the end, or I've put something in the inside for you. Once you've done a review, I have a small prize for you on the inside, and that's something maybe you can give them a discount on your next course if they refer somebody to you. That's another sales presentation that I can do, and I'll probably do that in another video. But that's what you're going to do. You're going to do everything in one recording session. So you're going to do all your live recordings where you're showing your face. You're going to introduce every chapter. Let me start again. So A right here, let's do a recap on A. Record in one setting. You're going to give an introduction. You're going to introduce who you are. You may need to put your credentials in there and why they should be listening to you and why you're authority in that particular position. You're gonna still look at them and you're gonna read to them the course objectives. This is what we plan to cover here today. Then you're gonna read to them again in their face that they see you. You're going to talk about chapter 1. You're going to set up chapter 1. You're not going to get into long detail. You're going to set up chapter 1. In chapter 1 is a very exciting chapter because it starts this chapter 2. Then you're going to do chapter 2. Then you're going to do chapter 3. You're going to do 4, and you're going to do 5. And you're going to do the conclusion. So you essentially have done 7 videos at one setting. That will take you maybe 2 hours, maybe 2 hours, and you're done. You've done everything you needed to do. Your course is complete. You've done 7 recordings. Now you're saying, okay, it's not complete. No, that's the hardest part, is being on camera, presenting yourself with authority, making eye contact with your students. You've done that. If it's taking you 2 hours of recording for you to do that, and you've done it and you're complete. Now, everything else that you do, whether you're talking over slides, whether you're talking over a PowerPoint, or whether you're just showing different videos, the hardest part is done. You've gone on camera for 2 hours total max, and you're done. Everything else, you just slip inside, because once I tell you, now I'll see you on the inside, let's go to chapter 1, right? And so when you do that, you're done. All you have to do now is just put chapter 1 together, and you put that together on your own, right? And you come back later and you can do chapter 1. You can do the rest of the chapters over the rest of the week, right? And it says every night I'm going to do a different chapter, right? And then you're done. So you can be done really in a week, or you can just be done the rest of that evening, because you've done 5 chapters. You can put together the next 5 chapters in maybe another 2 hours, and that's already total of maybe 4 or 5 hours, and your course is complete. All right, so as I kind of wrap this video up, last thing I want to talk about is you yourself have to go through the entire class as a student. This is probably the most important piece outside of making sure you create an outline. This is the second most important piece, is that you have to make sure that you go through the entire class as a student. You want to go through the emails. You want to see what emails they get. You want to see where the emails are coming from. You want to test it out. You want to see if it actually works. I would test it out with 2 different emails to see what you get. I would test it out on mobile, and I would test it out on desktop. But I would go use different emails and test each one of them out. And then you can test with your Gmail and put +1. Like if your name is nancy@gmail.com, you can go Nancy +1. And then that allows you to get like another email. And then you can go to Nancy +2 at gmail.com. And those are some of the different tests that you can run. So you want to look at it on mobile. You want to look at it on desktop. Go through the entire process all the way in, all the way through the certificate process, right? Then you launch. That's it. You launch. I have here, done is better than perfect, because it's never going to be perfect, and you're going to always be tweaking it to make it better, right? So I say launch because if you don't launch, you're never going to launch. You're going to find reasons not to launch. So your first course is not going to be perfect, and you're going to learn from that, right? That's why coming out of my first course, I did not charge as much, because I wanted to work the kinks out, and I didn't want anybody to say, well, gosh, I paid $3,000 for a course that's only worth $20, right? I never wanted people to come back and say that. I always wanted to add value, and I wanted it to be a published professional piece. So until I can ramp it up, and then what you're going to learn from the feedback is you may have to go back and do 1 or 2 chapters over to get it to where you really want it to be. Once it's dialed in, after you do it about 15 times, or you sold it 15 times, you've gotten feedback from over 15 to 20 people, then you can incrementally adjust the price, right? So again, listen, this has been Jenny Jones. I have more videos to do. There's so much. I own so much software. Let me know in the comments what else you would like to see. I've tried almost every single software that's out there just because I want the perfect software for all three of the companies that I run. So I'm using a little bit of all of them in my different companies because all my different companies require something different. So again, this has been Jenny Jones, the Digital Marketing Tool Shed. Hey, I hope this has been fun. Hopefully this has been helpful for someone. And you guys take care. Make sure you share my channel. I'm trying to grow it, right? If you guys share it and the more people you tell, the more videos I'll do. And just tell me what you need me to do videos on. And I'll do those as I have time through me running my business. You guys take care. Goodbye for now.